selfish his cardboard box. It's bank holiday, so that's why. Well, it's bank holiday tomorrow.
Good evening.
Good evening, sorry. Just thinking our little jam. So Anton, I hope you're safe and well. You, Andy, give it a like, come on, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Before we do something live. We haven't seemed to do it live for ages. Busy at the moment. Busy times.
Don't worry. Yep, it is.
Yeah, it is. And basically this stemmed from me and Anton having a conversation the other day. And obviously Anton's been doing his dailies, and it's been a bit more opinion based, because obviously people can do and reel off 20, 30 transfers, which we do sometimes. But we thought, let's have a rest. Let's decompress a little bit and look at what we've already got. 100%. And so that's the whole idea of this idea. It's one of several, maybe another 2, maybe even 3 episodes, maybe. In that we're going to look at the current, the current retained squad. So obviously the likes of Yarma, sorry Wally, but Ryan Fredericks, David Martin, they won't be in sort of this. Mark Noble, sadly, won't be in this sort of this collection of shows, but it's everyone that we've got retained. And the idea is, it's a bit like Snog, Marry and Avoid, whatever it is, but it's keep, sell, loan. Simple concept. Simple, Simon. Sometimes the simplest concepts are the best. Here we've got the chat. So a quick look at the chat. Gazza's, of course.
Before we move on in the chat,
go on.
This is not a wig. This is real. But it is actually real. People have been actually saying in the comments, like, what is going on with your hair? I'm growing it out, and it does. I know it's just thick and curly, and it looks slightly. But there you go. So I just wanted to address that one quickly.
This isn't.
Yes.
Just to make that point clear.
I'll cut some off and send it in the post to you, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, you need it. Actually, I need to get a cut. That's the trouble. When you get to a point that you have to sort of cut it really short, you have to cut it quite often, because after a while it just looks.
You just need your little bic, mate. You just need a bic.
Well, that's the thing. Well, or my Manscaped thing is very
Manscaped.
It's very good. It's very good for everywhere.
Yeah,
anyway, back to the comments. Gazza's in there. Of course, Gazza's in the chat. Gazza's always in the chat. Indeed, Yarmolenko. Who else? Who else is going to score for the Ukraine apart from Yarmolenko?
I tell you what was interesting before that game started was Graham Souness's passionate speech that I saw live. Yeah. And he said, listen, I'm born bred, played for the country. I'm extremely passionate about the country. However, I'm torn. I'm extremely torn about tonight's game.
Yeah.
And he said Ukraine, should be there, should be at the tournament.
Yeah.
Should actually be at the tournament, especially when such crap shit is going on in life. And it really is. Yeah. It really is. So
it's true. It's I think everyone apart from, well, it's just even Graham Souness, but everyone apart from Scotland's probably rooting for the Ukraine just because of everything that's gone on, isn't it?
Yep.
And obviously it's an elimination, isn't it? So whoever wins plays Spain. No, plays Wales on Sunday.
We'll get there eventually.
I basically say go the whole around the fucking world until I get to Wales. But they'll play Wales on Sunday, isn't it? I think.
Yep.
Usual suspect. Good afternoon. Good evening to you. Happy Amret's in the house as well. James Bong's here. Hi, James. Gates is here. Who else we got? You have detention as you are late, says Rob. Well, what's 2 minutes between friends? It was discussing Anton's hair. That's what we're basically doing, to be honest. Jimmy's in there, had Ukraine at 5-2 and first 2 goals, Yarma. Indeed. Good bet for that one, I think. Everyone's talking to each other. Looks like a syrup to me, says Catesy. Adam Cole, not the wrestler, I hope. Bit quiet, the singings. Okay, very good.
Signings, what you saying?
Singings, yeah. Danielle's in the house. Good evening. Trini's in there. We've got to send Trini his shirt. I've got to do that. I'll talk to you about that. We'll get that sent to him.
His shirt? What shirt?
The shirt. Well, he won the thing. He won the first. Our thing our thing just jumped. I was trying to record it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not saying to us. We shouldn't sell anyone until we get players in. Well, this is not set in stone. This isn't the list to David Moyes, but it's just our opinions, and it's your opinions as well. And what will happen is we'll go through all the players individually. We'll both chat about them a little bit, get your comments, and then we'll probably put a vote onto YouTube for those of you watching on YouTube Well, actually, everyone watching on YouTube because we're just on YouTube, aren't we? And you can poll them and we'll put them into the right categories. Should be fun. Should be fun. People think that you are lying about your wig, but that's not. I believe it. That's an Irish jig if I ever saw one. Everyone's talking to each other. Have you heard of Brutus the Barber Beefcake? Oh, of course.
Absolutely. I don't think is he? I don't think he's alive anymore.
He's dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, he did. He did. I used to, that was my youth. That was Johnny Depp won his court case. He did.
Yep,
he did.
He did.
Mrs. Budden was listening to it, and afterwards went, "What happened to him? I have no idea." I don't think he won.
Oh no, he said he's alive.
Yeah, is he
Someone
alive?
said he's alive.
Yeah. No, he's dead. Oh, that's not a Google search I was thinking of doing today. Brutus,
Edward Leslie. Edward Leslie is his real name.
Right. Okay. I thought he died. Apparently not.
There you go. No,
Doesn't seem to say he's dead. He's an American retired wrestler. There we go. We've learnt something new every day. Very good.
Have.
There we go. Signings, bloody phone, Lowell the wrestler, indeed. Rusty B. Yeah, anyway, let's crack on. So the idea is, so we've got. Let me get my little. Let's change my screen so we can get all nice.
Well, hold on a minute though, Rusty B. Even before you go there,
okay.
If you haven't already, go and check out the show I did earlier on today with regards to Connor Coventry. I can't even remember what I titled the show, but something along the lines of West Ham potentially could save millions of pounds. So go and check out the video. It's more of an opinion piece. It gives you a little bit of information about him, but I think this is his year to step up. And then on top of that, the Hammers headlines is also being released. It was a bit later tonight because there was an issue initially with the volume, so I had to actually do it live. I literally smashed dinner down my throat. I nearly made myself sick so I could come live to you and bring you the Hammer headlines. So
that's the sacrifice he makes for you.
Yeah.
Couldn't even have a time. You had to literally gulp the haggis down. You couldn't swallow it. You couldn't chew or anything, could you? Unbelievable.
No. Just gulped it.
Oh. Just gulped it. Just gulped it. Do you gulp haggis? Can you gulp haggis? I thought. I don't know.
I don't know. It gives me a dicky tummy. But anyway,
we'll
move on.
Okay, good to know. Right, so that's what we got. So basically, we haven't got, just for clarity, we haven't got Heggie in terms of the Hungarian under-23 goalkeeper as well, because he hasn't played in the first. Well, hasn't been around the first team squad, but everyone else has been around the first team squad. We've got quite a few to get through. We've got all the goalkeepers, and we're assuming that for the purpose of this, Areolas and Fabianski are both with us. Although apparently he has signed. Fabianski has signed his contract as X, but hasn't been announced.
Well, listen, if you look at the who was the player that signed his contract, and Antonio, and it was signed like 2 months previous. Yeah. So if you actually remember, I'm not saying it was me. Everyone was reporting it at the time. I'm not saying it's me. So I did a story on Fabianski signing his contract about 3 months ago, and I wouldn't be surprised if the signature's been there, done that. And,
well, Moyes said, didn't he? Because he said it in the press conference, didn't he? He just I went, oh yeah, by the way, Fabianski's great. We're keeping him for next year, and sort of didn't say anything else about it. And you're going, okay, so he's signed, or is he, or hasn't he signed? I don't know. Anyway, let's start with Fabianski. And obviously, this is fictional. This is not, as I said, David Moyes isn't going to chuck him out tomorrow from from Rush Green. Sorry, Lucas. But West Ham Network said you got to go, so you're out. Right, so Fabianski, obviously 37 now.
Yep,
37. Been first choice, or let's say Premier League first choice this season. By all accounts, he's signing a 1-year extension. What do you think about it? Obviously, there's a great mass debate, isn't there, about Areola or Fabianski for next year. If rumours are to be believed that Areola's we're going to exercise his signing on fee for 8-9 million, which seems absolutely ridiculous to me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but I don't really look at the player fee anymore. It's more about what they earn a week, really.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. However, when it comes to Fabianski, great servant for the club. Very, you know what you're going to get with Fabianski. Yeah. Premier League proven. He's a great shot stopper. And as of late, and really in his career, he has been questioned a lot, even when he was at Arsenal, even when he was at Swansea. It was questionably about his positioning. It was always there, and his distribution. That was the reason why he eventually, well, not one of the only reason, but some of the reasons why he left Arsenal and left and obviously West Ham brought him in after Swansea. But he's one of those keepers that's been up there because he's been on the receiving end of, I suppose you really could say, is the stats in terms of when he played for Swansea. You know, they were conceding a lot of goals, and if it wasn't for Fabianski, they may not have spent the time they did in the Premier League. Coming to West Ham, you know, only in the last couple of years we've really progressed, and he's been a major part of that. We can't remotely deny that. He really has.
I mean, to be honest, when we did, I think when I first did my first Hammers 11, he was my goalkeeper. Because
I was shocked with that.
Yeah, because I thought he was. I looked through, mate. It could have been Rob. I mean, it could have been Ludo, or but I always I think my mind was always with Ludo. Was my granddad used to call him Loopy Ludo, so it's always been in the back of my head with Loopy Ludo. Rob Green maybe, but we haven't. And David James was a good goalkeeper, but he's like, until we had a bit of a spate with goalkeepers, and then Fabianski came in, and obviously we had Adrian, who's could be a bit erratic. Randolph was a bit erratic. Yushi was quite a solid goalkeeper, but then Fabianski came in and was just maybe people call it Flapianski, but I never really, I think he has just as many mistakes in him as any other goalkeeper.
He does. I mean, I think we all know he's staying.
Yeah.
And I think we all know it's probably for one more year. And whether or not he's the first team goalkeeper, that will be yet to be decided. Now, if we were to sign Areola on a permanent, I'm assuming the deal would be based upon, I don't know, it could be wrong here, some form of agreement that I'm going to get game time. He's not going to sign at a stage of his career being selected for the French national squad and not wanting to have some game time. So I think that Fabianski stays and it's a no-brainer and he takes on a role within the club. And you never know, Russ, you just don't know what Moyes is thinking. If Areola was to start games and wasn't to play well, Fabianski, you've got a great keeper to backup keeper in Fabianski to call upon. So, and that means that could be the opening that a keeper needs. And that's what happens in that. There's one position, and if one player hits a bit of dodgy form, bang, another keeper comes in. It doesn't mean that Areola is going to be perfect. I think he's good, and I really like him. He could be West Ham keeper for 6 years onwards. But
that's the thing. He could be because, as you said, it's like he's that age now. I mean, Fabianski is 37 now. I think Areola's 28. I want to say something like that. So, even 29. He's still got 4 or 5 years really in front of him, in front of Zuma and in front of maybe Naif as well. And there could be this. It could be a trio which would last for a long time. Right, in the poll, we'll end the poll now because otherwise it'll be all bloody day. 88% said keep. So there we go. We do what you say. Peeps. So, hang on. Why is it not working? There we go. I've got to do it. Oh, sorry.
Wrong. Oh, it's going
wrong. It never goes wrong with Russ. There we go. Oh, no.
Oh, there's a car. Oh.
There's my car. Anyway. Here we go. Let's drag him on. There we go. He's kept. Right. Okay. Next one. Areola. What do you think about Areola?
No brainer for me. I've been delighted with him. I loved him when he was at Fulham.
Yeah.
I thought he was a quality goalkeeper. I think in his early career at West Ham, I remember doing a show with you, actually, Russ, and I think a couple of times I was questioning his, what's the word I'm looking for? Erraticness.
Yeah.
Keepers, I suppose, technically do have that in them, but I think all in all, he's a quality goalkeeper. And some of the saves he's made this year, Sevilla, that everyone keeps talking about, is an absolute no-brainer as to shows the high quality that he is. He's huge, mate. I think he's 6'5".
Yeah. He's very physically imposing, whereas Fabianski is more svelte, but he's got more. He seems more stretchy. If that makes sense. He just seemed, whereas as you said, Areola's just a bit of a unit. And obviously, the people talk about. I think at times, Areola's distribution is best than Fabianski's, but it's not perfect. There's some really good goalkeepers out there who do set up the place in the back quite nicely. You got the likes of Ederson does that very well. I think even Ramsdale does it quite well for Arsenal, really. Which is one thing I think we've never had, is that goalkeeper who can start attacks from the back. I hate,
Areola does take more risks though.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
in terms of when he gets the ball to his feet, he holds on to it. He feels a bit more confident to play the ball, and therefore invites a lot of the opposition to get quite close to him. But his distribution is a lot better. There's no ifs or buts about it. His shot stopping ability, as Happy Amaretto said, is up there. And I would love him to be our number one. I love the fact now he's been with the club for a year. I love the fact that he's been our cup keeper. I love the fact he was part of the cup run. And he knows the club now, so he loves London. He was at Fulham, he's been at West Ham, and during the summer between Fulham and West Ham, he stayed in London with his family. Yeah. So I think he wants to be there, and I think it's a no-brainer to bring him in. So the rumor is 9 million, 8 million, whatever, something there and thereabouts. 100 and potentially 120 to 130. That's what he gets at PSG.
He's at 125 at PSG at the moment.
And whether or not they subsidise that in any way, which apparently they've been known to do, then you never know. But you never know as well, Russ. Man, it could be another loan deal. You're hearing all this stuff.
He's got the other. That's the thing. I think is like, at the end of the day, he could. We have the option to offer him another year loan. He's not good. I mean, we reported about it before. There's the they've promoted one of their young keepers. So then they've got 5 first-team goalkeepers really in the squad, and Areola's not going to displace Donnarumma. He's not going to displace Keylor Navas. So he'd be third choice at best. And as I said, they promoted one of the youth team goalkeepers into the first team, give him a bumper contract as well to keep him tied down. So he has to go elsewhere. Whether it is going to be, I think it's a no-brainer for £8 million. I mean, that's a punt, isn't it? Now that's a punt for a left. For a 8 to 10 million quid is a punt for any player now. Where this guy's guaranteed.
I don't look at the fee anymore. It's the weekly salary. Yeah. That's it. That's what I look at.
And that's the issue as well. I mean, the fact is that PSG was subsidising. I mean, he last year was the top earner on paper on his PAYE form, but in terms of on the P&L, PSG paid 50% of these wages. I don't know. Sean never managed to find out what percentage they paid, but as you said, if they, the truth is they're going to subsidise it. Yeah. If they subsidise it, then it's an absolute no-brainer. Because you're right, you might pay £8 million, but if you're paying 120 grand a week, then that quickly adds up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unsurprisingly, 100% keep. Unsurprisingly. I'm rubbish at this anyway. I'll figure this out eventually. I'll figure this out by episode 3. Right, okay. Let's go on to Randy. Let's go on to Darren Randolph, soon to be a father.
Yeah, he is.
To be a father.
I think when it comes to Randolph, like he wanted to leave the club. I think he's got a lot of respect for the club, and I think the club have got respect for him. So I don't doubt that for a second. But there comes a time and a place when I think you need a player to move on. Now, the key to this whole question is we need to have. You can't just run the whole season on 2 goalkeepers.
No,
you can't. You need to have the third in the squad for a mixture of loads of different reasons. So, as long as we brought someone else in the keeper format, I mean, I would go all out and bring Pope in. I don't see the harm in having Fabianski, Areola, and Pope. I'm not sure that will happen. But for me, I think it's time for Randolph to go. I think it's realistic that he goes. He's got a year left in his contract, so we can generate some form of fee. A fee of something is better than nothing. And he's had no game time at all. And I would rather that position go to a younger lad if we don't bring someone else in.
Yeah.
And I've always been a big canvasser for young goalkeepers to be given a shot, because you mentioned a player earlier on in Donnarumma who was given his debut at AC Milan. I think he was a teenager still. So,
yeah, I mean, it's a thing where I think you're totally right. I think that third goalkeeper. I mean, was you surprised they kept him? on the retained list? Because there was always going to be. I mean, obviously they got rid of David Martin, and I was surprised that they kept him on the retained list.
But he's on the retained list because he's still got a year contract left. So they've not looked at that and gone.
Yeah, I know,
you know, it does. You know, Randolph could still go, and any other player could still go. So I think that, you know, the retained list is designed for players at the end of their contracts, aren't they? So
yeah. But for me, I think I could see, as you said. I mean, I think it's probably right to give that third spot up to one of the youngsters. I don't think, obviously, I'd love to have got, you'd love to get, bloody Fabianski, Areola, and Pope, but it's a World Cup year; it's not going to happen. Yeah. But that would be incredible. Right, what we got? We've got 74% say sell. There we go. 16% loan, 11% keep. So that's what we'll do. That's what we'll bloody do. We'll bloody put him in there. Okay, so he's going to be sold.
But you know what? He's got great memories as a West Ham player from his first stint at the club. So,
Oh, totally. And I think he's. I think there was that period when him and Adrian probably was at, well, it doesn't usually happen where you have sort of two goalkeepers who could interchange. And obviously we had Adrian and Randolph, and then we had a couple of iterations with likes of Roberto and whatnot. And now, and even when Fab first started, now we've got a situation where if we sign Areola, we've got two goalkeepers who can interchange, two first teamers basically, rather a first teamer and a reserve player.
Yeah,
52 games. Wow.
Yep.
Really, that's impressive. That's impressive. Right,
that's in his whole career. That's all career.
It's still impressive though. 52 and 50. Considering some of the crap he's played in front of, he's had in front of him as well for West Ham. That's the thing. You always got a caveat with how. I mean, that's the thing when people look at Mark Noble. The fact is that he's played all these games and played under all these managers, but he's played with some shit players as well as some good players as well.
He has, mate. Yeah, he has.
Right, let's go on to the kids. Okay, let's go to Nathan Trott. Obviously, he's been on loan at AS Nancy. Nancy. What's going on with Nathan Trott? Let's be honest.
I love the fact he's gone abroad. I think that's bloody brilliant for him. I think that's going to really make or break you as a player, especially being at the age he is, 23, which in goalkeeper years is young, really young now. Yeah, it's literally nothing. Now, from my understanding, he's been away and he's done all right, I believe. Yeah. So he's played 23 games for Nancy. He's conceded 47 goals and he has had 3 clean sheets. But the key thing here is he's had a lot of game time in a foreign country, which I do like. It's the second division of the French league, but
Ligue 2.
But that doesn't mean that he can't make it in the Premier League. Now, my answer to this question is: if we don't bring anyone else in, we keep. If we bring someone else in, if we don't bring anyone else in, we keep. And if we do bring someone else in, we loan. But for me, it's a case of if you believe you are good enough, then get him in and around that squad. However, my concern would be he's not had much game time for West Ham. It's a big season for us because we've got the Conference League coming up again. And yeah, it's going to make for interesting reading. His contract runs out. I actually didn't realise that, but his contract runs out with Nancy in June. Yeah. So I don't know what it is with West Ham. Got.
Yes, travel market don't do. They're very confused with their contract stuff. Because he's been like, I remember seeing him play for the under 23s. He was all right. He was all right.
It says his contract ends this month.
No,
on that, but it can't be.
No, that can't be right. That can't be right. Right, let's see what we say, because obviously the great thing is we don't make the answer. We don't make the suggestions. The viewers do, and we'll end that poll 45% keep.
Yeah.
45% keep. So we do what you say, and he will be kept. There we go. He's in the kept. So we're getting the hang of this now. Right, okay.
Yeah, we are. We're in.
We are. Now I figured out how to do it. Right, okay. Joseph Anang, interesting one with Joseph. He's currently still on loan because he's at St Patrick Athletic, and they are still sort of midway through their season.
Yeah,
And he's actually been playing quite a lot of games for them.
yes.
And now, obviously, the two of them are the sort of two youngsters, and obviously, I remember famously that whole idea of bringing in Roberto and David Martin was to send out Trot and Anang to get some loan experience, and it all effed up, and Pellegrini lost his job. I mean, the thing is, for me, it's like I think we've interviewed lots of players who have played, who basically decided to move on from West Ham because they could have stayed at West Ham and stayed in the squad. People like Lee Hodges and Adam Newton, and a lot of that sort of that school of '99, 2000 type thing.
Yep.
And I wouldn't want them to stay to basically warm a bench up.
No.
You know, I
no.
want, we said guys like Izzy Ikupen, who had a great career at Swansea, and I said Lee Hodges had a great career at Scunthorpe, and Adam Newton at Portsmouth, amongst others. And I think you got to keep, personally, I'd keep one of them, and probably not, well, probably loan initially, but, it's got to come to a point where, are they ever going to make it?
I just think it takes for a big club to give a young keeper a chance, and it doesn't really tend to happen in England. I think the player I can think off the top of my head maybe was Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Who was given a bit of a chance. But there's an interesting pod out with Ben Foster, who talks to Kasper Schmeichel about his time when he was at Man City and how he came through the ranks, and Sven-Goran Eriksson was going to give him a shot, and then he signed the contract, and then the next week Joe Hart was in goal, and he was like, what's going on? So it's going to take a time for a keeper, but it's a dog-eat-dog world now in the youth system, Russ. Yeah. It really is. And if you've got to have it all very quickly to be able to make it.
And I think you're right. It's because it's such a critical position. Not every position on the field is critical, but goalkeeper even more so. And it's like if you fuck up, and if you miss a pass, and you're a centre back or a left back or a centre mid, you get away with it. But goalkeeper, that's it. You live by your mistakes, really. And I wouldn't. And I don't think Moyes is going to. I don't think personally Moyes will trust a young goalkeeper. In my opinion.
No. Well, it's just whether or not he actually trusts a lot of the youngsters.
Yeah, we
have to wait and see. But he's played 20 games for St. Patrick's, 17 goals conceded, which is a really good stat. I know it's in the Irish League, with 9 clean sheets as well. He has been out on loan to Stevenage. He played 18 games, conceded 29 with 5 clean sheets. And he's played for the West Ham under-23s 49 times, conceding 81 with 12 clean sheets. I mean, listen, he's 21, Russ. He's got plenty of time under his belt. Send him out on loan. I think Gatesy put it in the comment there. Send him out on loan to the Championship, and then see what happens next year.
Yeah,
Russ, one of those two, we could be sitting on a gem.
Yeah, we could be. I mean, I think the thing is, I think we are. But he plays in the under-23s now.
Yeah.
That's the gem. That's I think Heggy's, by all accounts, is. I've seen him play as a very good goalkeeper. Got a lot of like. Meslier from Leeds. He's got that sort of presence around him. So not physically dominating, but he just seems to be a very competent. And apparently they've got lots of hopes for him. But we could see St Patrick's we could be drawn against them in the Conference League.
Yeah, we could be.
Yeah. They're in the I think they're in the first round qualifier. Right. Anyway, let's see what we've got. We've got end of the poll. 55% say loan him out. So there we go. Yeah. You said loan him out. He is going to be loaned out to a Championship club, says Gatesy. Nice one. Okay, let's move on. This is getting good. Right, okay, now we're going to start getting interesting, I think.
Yeah.
The man with the magic hat, Aaron Bloody Creswell. Now, thoughts about Cress. Obviously, we're talking about Creswell now, not Creswell 5 years ago, 10 years ago, Creswell now. 32, I want to say. 32
he is 32. He's got another year left in his contract. And for me, he was borderline back to his best again for the last 2 seasons. I obviously was disappointed with his decision making a couple of games in the Europa League. It wasn't great. However, I have forgiven and forgotten because he's been at the club for, I don't know now how many games, how many years he's been for. He's nearly up to 300 appearances for West Ham.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember more positive things and positive seasons that he's given to us than I do about his negatives. So I think we've got another really good year from Creswell, and he can really work with someone who's a bit younger or someone to come in and challenge him. I have no problem with someone coming in now to challenge that spot, because I tell you what, you would want no one better than Creswell sneaking up your back to try and get you out of that position.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think this is his last year was probably his last year as the guaranteed left back.
Yeah,
I think now he's that age now where I think if you got as Gatesy says someone like Lee Buchanan from Derby, God, could you imagine someone like Aaron Hickey or Rahm from Hoffenheim, who I think could be a fantastic player. And even keeping Cress as backup, now he's the most experienced Premier League player we've got. Obviously, with Nobes going, lots of people on the same length give him some soap for his early baths. I think the position he plays now, you get the same feeling. I think Zabaleta towards the end as well. It was like genuine pace. You just can't deal with it. You just can't deal with genuine pace. And I remember Zab, in the last couple of games getting torn a new one by, I think it was Sarr from Watford.
Yeah.
In one game, and it's sad to see, but then it's what he brings. With someone who's just left the club, who's played 18 years at West Ham, there's no long-term experience now in the club, so to speak. And I think Creswell has that sort of. He's been here. God, how long has he been here? He must be here.
I think he signed for us
years?
back in 2014.
Yeah.
So he's 8 years now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the thing with him is I kind of agree with the sentiment of what people are saying. Bring someone else in to challenge him. And if they can't knock him off the pedestal, then so be it. But if they can, then so be it. But, he's got 293 appearances for West Ham, 10 goals, 34 assists. He's been around the block. He got 3 call-ups to England through playing at West Ham.
Yeah.
I think he can really whip that ball in when he gets forward. And also, people are forgetting that he can fill in at centre-back and he can actually do really all right in that position.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well.
If he drops, if he goes to 3 at the back as well, he's better at that position. I think that is his natural position now. Right, let's see what the chat says. Let's end the poll. 89% keep. There we go. 89% keep. So we shall keep him. There we go. Crest, the man with the magic cat, is in the. He's here for next year. That's good. Right. Okay, let's move on to. Some of these are going to be a bit silly, but we're going to go for all of them because we do. Right. Kurt Zuma. Obviously, he got sentenced today.
Yep.
180 hours community service. Can't have a cat for 5 years. And is there a community as a condition or something as well for a year or something as well? Right. Well, I think, to be honest, this one's a bit of a no-brainer in all honesty.
I think he's been fantastic, though. He has. Yeah, he really has.
Loan into Sunderland.
If we park the situation that's gone on, and if we can move on now, he's been punished. He's going to serve his punishment, and so be it. Obviously, we're keeping him, and he's been a fantastic centre half, and I think it'd be nice to see us strengthen in that department and see if we can find another gem who can play alongside him, and it looks like we potentially have.
Yes.
With a boy coming in, Aguirre from Rennes. So
yep, hopefully hopefully very, very soon. He's interesting with Gate, possible captain, future captain maybe. You said in your Hammers headlines, about Declan. No contract, no problem. Definitely, gonna be here next season, but next summer, who knows? Who knows? Yeah. But also, maybe who's gonna be vice captain in it this year?
Probably Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't see. I love Zuma. I think. I think he's a great centre half.
Yeah.
I don't see him being the West Ham captain. I'll be honest.
Interesting.
I really don't. I really don't.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. It's
But
interesting to think with it. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. I'm just going to close the poll now. I mean,
yeah,
he's a keep. He's a keeper.
but he's in his prime. Russ, 27.
He
He's
is.
played 32 games for West Ham. He's played 150 odd games for Chelsea, Stoke City, Everton. About 60 or 70 games collectively. Saint Etienne, 75 games. The man's been around. He's won a lot of stuff in
Yes.
Europe. You know, he's the sort of player you probably want in and around the squad in order to progress your team and have that quality. He's a player, taking away his personal situation, he's a player that other players will look at and go, Zuma's there, so okay, let's have a look and see.
Yeah, he's a name. He's a name, and I think you're right. I think it's been. I mean, he's sort of. Obviously, we bought him as a right-sided centre back of the two, and obviously he's had to accommodate, playing sort of the left side for Dawson. I think once you get that left-sided, once you get an Aguerd or Ake or Theatre or clearly, you look at everyone. We're probably all the centre backs we seem to be linked with. They're all left-sided,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's a coincidence. I think then you'll see the proper Zuma. I think you'll see the proper Zuma.
Yeah. But there is a little concern about injuries, etc., that he may pick
good
up.
shout. Yeah.
He literally looks like when he walks off the park every game that he has got an injury.
Looks fucked.
He absolutely does. But I think that some people are just like that. It shows.
It's like I know Antonio's the same. It's just the bulk and stuff. It's my excuse as well. Just walking off the pitch and look fucked. But and I think same with Tommy Soucek as well. Sometimes the man looks knackered, but then he runs second or the most miles ever or in the Premier League this season or something like that. And I think Zuma's the same, just the way he holds his body. I think. Right. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about Dawson. Let's talk about Ballon Dawson. Now, obviously, not let's part last year. We're talking about next year, this season coming.
He's a no-brainer, mate. He stays. He's 32 years old. He was signed with no real, I don't know what, like ambition by West Ham fans, and he's turned out to be everything the opposite to what we initially thought. He is a no-brainer. He stays because he knows the club now.
Yeah.
He's been in the club a long time, enough to know exactly what it is. He's part and parcel of this whole camaraderie that they've built up with each other. And if other players are coming in, he's probably easy to please as well. You know what, Dawson, if we do bring in Aguerd, my centre-half pairings is going to be Zuma and Aguerd. You're going to be the backup, but you're going to get game time. And if we do pick up injuries after the season he's had, look at the performances he's given us.
I think it's fair to say that he came in as a squad player anyway. He didn't come in to be number two or to be the second centre back. It was always going to be, it was Zuma and Ogbonna, and he came in, and in some cases he probably came in as fourth choice really behind Diop.
He did.
And he said he's coming to the age now where he would probably. I mean, again, Gates says it may be a keep, but in terms of getting the younger centre back, I think that's the general idea. He would be sort of. I mean, ideally, you want a centre back pairing for the Premier League and a centre back pairing for what's name for the conference and the cups, and him and possibly Ogbonna, possibly an Elise or something like would be your sort of centre back pairings, and then obviously as and when injuries happen, I mean, we never thought we was going to end up not having a centre back. Really, 4 centre backs is usually the average that you need for a squad. But I think for this season, is a no-brainer. He's a no-brainer.
Do you know what? I didn't realise this, but he's actually played 74 games for West Ham.
Don't surprise me.
74 games.
He's always been there.
Yeah, he's obviously got such a lot of Premier League experience. Over 225 games for West Brom, 31 games for Watford. The list goes on. He's got 8 goals, 2 assists for West Ham. But for me, Russ, he's been a fantastic servant to the club. And what's the famous saying? They say, I can't remember. It's like under it. Oh, don't oversell, but overachieve. No, what is it? Undersell and overachieve.
Under promise and
Yeah,
overachieve.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you remove that comment because he's consistent. So
Yeah,
we'll take that.
yeah, and I think, and he actually, to be honest, he complimented Zuma quite well, because I was talking to someone at work today about it, where Zuma's, despite the fact Zuma's quite a bit of a lump, he's not like an aggressive defender. He stands off. He's more of like a modern defender. They don't really tackle anymore. They tend to sort of jockey him and not go into the challenge, whereas someone like Dawson does, and they sort of complement each other quite well, I thought, as a pairing. Right, let's end the poll. Unsurprisingly, 94% said that he should be kept. So there we go. He's kept.
Absolutely.
There we go. Right, let's move on to Oggy.
Listen, I'm going to hold my hand up here when it comes to Oggy. I was never his biggest fan when he first signed for the club, and it took me until 2.5 seasons ago to really start to get the vibe of what Oggy was doing. I go back to, and I'll still go back to the 2016 season, the last at Upton Park. Winston Reid absolutely carried him. He absolutely carried him through that whole season. He was shouting and screaming through that whole season at him. And then he kind of, like a fine wine, nurtured into a very good centre-back for West Ham. And I think he now understands everything about the club. He's been there, done that, wore the T-shirt for the club. He's been through the crap times. He's also seen some really nice times. He's been in the background. He seems to be well respected. He seems to be like the godfather, the Ogfather, as they'll call him. I think it's a no-brainer. We keep him, and we, as what Gatesy said, is it's purely a sentiment thing, as we don't know how much of the pre-injury Oggy is there. If he didn't get the injury, it's not a sentiment decision, but an ability. But the thing you've got with someone like him is, as long as he's fit and he can do some part of a job, he can play a really key role, like what Ginge did laterally in his career. He didn't play a lot of game time, but when called upon, he'd done a job. And also, he's a very good threat going forward. So I think another year of Oggy to show the ropes to whoever is there, to lead them from the front line, but from the bench, then that's always going to be great to have. And he's on the keep list.
But as a what's the word? Just a devil, so to speak. Keeping another 30. You've already got a 32-year-old Craig Dawson, another 33-year-old. Does that stunt the progress of someone like Alese, who we think, you and me rave about him, but he ain't going to get in front of them four, is he?
Well, yeah, it could. If we honour the contract with Oggy, Oggy could be brought in as we could have 5 centre halves. There's absolutely no harm in that, because Oggy could play the role of going, I'll guide you, I'll do this, I'll do that, and there'll be enough games, Russ, to go round.
Yeah.
They're going to pick up injuries. There will be.
Yeah, I know, but
I think getting rid of Oggy when he's been with the club since, what has he been with the club since?
Since 20. I want to say 2015.
Was it 2015?
Because he was the last. He was at the, because he scored. He was playing the last season at the Bowling.
Yeah, 15. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm 2014 says Rovist. I mean, I look at, or 20. Sorry, it could be 2015. I think it's 2015-16. I think Martin's right. Sorry, Ray. Yeah. I mean, I keep it quiet, but I sort of agree with Peter Jones. Sorry, Pete. But it's about that because we get to a situation where, I mean, you look at someone, I think it's Liverpool now. All their players are like 30 and above now. So there's going to be a point where they're going to have to get rid of everyone and phase a whole new sort of youth side in there. And same with us. I mean, if say God forbid, I mean, Craig Dawson said 33. Craig Dawson, Ogbonna's 32, 33 as well. And it's like,
well, look at our keep list, Russ. Look at the age group.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Right, let's see what we said. End the poll. Everyone agrees with you anyway. 83% said keep. There we go. I just thought I'd be controversial. That's all. Right, Oggy's there. Let's send him to the front so he can see. Bring to the front. There we go. Right. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Next one. Masuaku.
Arthur Masuaku.
Masuaku.
Listen, 128 appearances for the club since he's joined us. He's won
Really? Fucking hell,
yeah.
that's a massive, isn't it?
He's won a cup out for Olympiacos. The manager of Olympiacos has managed them. Looks like he wants them at Fulham.
Yep.
Who he manages now. They're up in the Premier League. I think he would be a really good signing for Fulham. And he's the sort of player that he kind of reminds me that he might come back and bite us on our arse if he does go. I think he's been an all right servant. I look back at his time and think of really good moments and lots of calamities that he's produced for us.
Yeah.
But his career really at West Ham has been stop-start. I mean, he came in 2016 and he played a bit part of the season. It's 2017, he played 27 games in the Premier League. The next season played 23, and then each season after that, it's dropped quite dramatically.
Yeah.
So I think it's time. It's definitely time to free up that position and give. He doesn't challenge Creswell, mate. He really doesn't.
No. But I mean, by his own admission, he was never, even at Olympiacos, he always said, I was never a left back.
Yeah.
And I think when they sort of, I mean, I remember a time. I think it was last season. I think he went on. Moyes. He was playing three at the back, and Masuaku was like integral for us. And actually, I remember he was on international duty. I think it was around November time last year, and he came back injured, potentially injured, and everyone was like, "Oh my god." Masuaku's injured, and it's like, really, you having this same conversation? It's like, it's he's obviously better going forward than he is going back. But I mean, yeah, I think I would sell him. I think it's as you said, someone like Fulham would be great for him. As you said, I think if they took him in Frederick's bowl accounts, that's what they're looking at. Yep. We'll end the poll, and 84% said sell. So there we go. He's out that door. He's out the door. There we go. Sorry, Arthur. Thank you for your service. Right, another interesting one. Diop.
Listen, I'm torn with Diop, and I'll tell you why I'm torn with Diop. He's been a French international since he's been under 16s. I think he's played through every single. He's done them all except for the senior side. Yeah. He's had 96 Premier League games for West Ham. He's played 121 times for West Ham. He was captain of Toulouse at the age of 18 or 19. He played 95 times for them. Scored 8 goals, 3 assists. And he's been. It's easy for people to turn around and say, sell Diop. When Diop plays well for West Ham, he sometimes is unplayable as a centre half.
Yeah, definitely.
And he is a confidence player, and when someone like Dawson comes in and takes over his position, that's not going to do him the world of good. That's not going to, keep his mindset going all right. The issue you've got though is he's got 1 year left in his contract. We signed him for 20 odd million quid. So we're in the market for centre halves. Do you keep Diop at the age of 25 with so much potential? Or if you sell Diop, who do you bring in to replace him?
Yeah.
And it's throwing so much in my mind. What do we do? Will we really lose out on someone who, with the right squad, the right team, could really make a difference?
Yeah, I mean,
he's been reasonably vital this year.
Yeah, I mean, there was. I mean, even before sort of the latest batch of centre halves, when it was him, Oggy, and Balbuena, it was always 2 out of 3 of them were in form. Yeah. Always 2 out of 3 of them were in form.
It was that season, wasn't there, with him and Balbuena? They played really well together.
They did, yeah, because Oggy was injured, and I think, and don't forget, it was only, don't forget me and Mourinho. I remember when we played, obviously, United, and he said he was a monster, and well done to the scouting network for getting him. He was, this wasn't meant, it's just, that was a while ago, though. That's probably about 6 or 7 years ago, really.
Yeah.
We'd been back at the old stadium, weren't it? And when he said that, and I think with Diop, I think he's fifth choice. He's fifth choice. Isn't he, really? If you look at, if you say,
I suppose if I take into consideration what you said Alessi. Alessi's key for me. We'll come on to him in a minute. I want him to be bled into this team somehow. And if Diop stays, that means really he's not going to be bled into the team. So I suppose based upon that, Russ, I'm going to go with sell because he's got a year left in his contract. I can't see the club offering him a new contract.
No, I can't see him because, as you said, if the rumours are believed and if he's on his way, he would be fourth choice. After it'll be Zuma, Nev, there'll be Dawson, Ogbonna, and then it'll be Diop. And I don't think realistically you can keep everyone happy like that.
No.
Right, let's end the poll. Let's see.
But there was a good point in there from someone in the comments. Let me find it here. With some kind of sell-on clause. Because he's got the potential to go on and do some wonderful things. And if Mourinho loves him, he might take him to Roma.
50% have said keep. So, we go what the viewers say. 50% keep. It was about 37 sell, 17 loan. So even if we combined sell and loan together, the market researcher in me would do that. But so, we go what the people say. People say keep. I think the option. I think the issue of all these are, the assumption is we're getting replacements. It's like, okay, well, sell him if we're going to buy someone in. So the idea is, I think if you did this in 3 weeks' time, he would probably be sold, and he probably will be sold anyway, to be honest. But it looks like Napoli at the moment, which they tried to buy him before he came to us. Napoli did. So we'll see what happens. Right, Benny Boy Johnson. Now, interesting. Obviously, couldn't agree a long-term deal with the club, so they had to activate his 2-year extension. Reports are that he will be going back and discussing a long-term deal with him. But what do we think about him?
I mean, 22 years old. He's got so much to learn in the game. And I think what he's given us this year is another outlet. And I really like him, Russ. I really do. Yeah. And I know some fan base are saying that his delivery is not as good as what maybe Vladimir Sofal's is. Who we've not actually included in this.
I've just realised. Yeah, I'm just going to bring you back in. Yeah. Wait. Carry on. It's a well-oiled machine.
And I think he is a no-brainer for me. Absolutely keep. He's 22. Yeah. He's come up through the ranks. He knows what it's like to play at West Ham now. He's got how many games he got under his belt, and for the club, 58 games at the age of 22. I mean, what else can we ask for? He's played 20 Premier League games this year, 8 Europa League games this year. He's got 2 goals under his belt, and he's West Ham through and through, mate. And it would be absolutely silly to get rid of someone like Ben Johnson, who can be versatile. He can play right back, he can play left back, he can jump inside to the centre mid, he can go forward as well. He's an absolute no-brainer to keep. No-brainer.
I think with Johnson as well, I honestly think he's going to be unless we spend big money on a centre back, on a left back rather. I think he's our number 2 left back next season. I think he plays all right left back, to be honest, considering he's predominantly right-footed. And eventually then maybe the true right back successor. Eventually, maybe, I don't know. I don't
know. He's 22 though, Russ. I mean, he still could be our true right back.
The trouble is for him. I was talking to a guy at work about him today. There's so many fucking right backs for England.
Yeah.
That actually, he would do well. I mean, I think for the under 21s, I think he actually was he was centre back in the back 3. Yeah, and actually, that sort of diversity and the fact that he can play so many positions, although it might hinder him nailing down a specific position, it will get him in squads for England and stuff like that because he can play 3 or 4 positions. In tournaments, it's really important to be able to do that. And for me, I think, not even before you look in the full England squad, you've got Dave Spence, you've got him, he's in the under-21 squad, you've got Veramento from Southampton, you've got Laperty from Brighton, and then you've got Ben Johnson. Then you go into the actual England squad, you've got Reece James, you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, you've got Kyle Walker can fill in that gap as well. It's crazy how many right-backs we've got in England. So if he wants to, look into an England career, it might be actually left back, might be the better job for him, to be honest. And the poll, 87% say keep. So there we go. Next up, Vladimir Sufal. brilliantly put on there. There we go. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
My buddy, mate. He's my buddy. I've
He's your
hung about
mate.
with him in London.
Yeah, you and Sue. I mean, obviously you made such an impact on them that you forgot that we didn't have him on the picture, on the group. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Regardless of that fact,
He's influential in the
Yes.
side, in the squad, in the team, in the background. He's a no-brainer of a fitness freak. He probably brings so much positivity around the model professional footballer. Apart from his dress sense on his days off, which is a bit crazy.
well, you had a similar tracksuit, to be honest to him.
No, it was just a jumper. Jeans on. He was wearing a full white tracksuit. It was confusing. Anyway, so we keep him. I've seen things that have concerned me this year, but his delivery is very good.
Yes.
There is no ifs and buts about it. And 10 assists he's got for the club with sorry, not 10 assists for the club, 12 assists for West Ham. He's still not scored a goal for us though. But I think between him and
but Thomas Repka never scored a goal for us.
I know. But he's a different whole ball game. Thomas Repka. Repka built his career on being a nutter, and Sofal's built his career on being a really good delivery of the ball, but also someone you would not mess with.
I mean, Gatesy makes a good point in that we one thing we lack is in a squad is European experience, playing at the European stage, and I think that's hopefully something maybe we address this year in terms of our signings, maybe even the free, potential free signings, which we'll talk about later on. Yeah. I think Vlad and Souček, they both have obviously experience playing at that level. So does Zuma as well, obviously, and Areola has experience as well. So, I think it's important to keep that sort of experience in the squad. He hasn't had the same impact as last year, but then neither's Thomas Souček either.
But then equally, the funny thing is, I mean, he's got a year left in his contract, and he hasn't had the same impact as his first year. But the 2 seasons have been consecutively good seasons for West Ham.
Yeah.
And you need players like them to solidify where we are and then start that progress again. So when you look at the players we've got in the keep section, in actual fact, the average age is really high.
Yeah.
Of the majority of them, there's maybe 3 players there that bring the average age down dramatically, but there's like easily 6 players there that take the average up dramatically. And the thing is,
obviously an issue.
And I know that's an issue, and I know people will then go on and say, David Moyes has said, "Oh God, I'm going to have a coughing fit. I'll let you talk in a minute."
You all right? You all right? Okay, I was covered. I know what he means. I think, and I agree with what Happy Hammerette says in terms of, there's a certain cut-off point, very similar to Zabaletta's cut-off point, where, it came to a point where it was the same with Creswell. I think this year is Creswell's last year, potentially as number 1 left back, but he could easily be displaced. I mean, the fact that Soufal was interchangeable with Ben Johnson for a while this season as well, when both were sort of playing together, or both fit, shows that, he's Moyes sort of rates. Obviously, I mean, I think Ben Johnson could be a great right back for us, and a long-term right back for us potentially. But I think Vlad's probably got maybe a season, maybe 2 seasons max. He'll get to a point where he gets sort of done for pace, and then it's time to go in it.
The point I was making was that he's 29. He's got a year left in his contract. And Moyes has spoken about this Red Bull model, which is bringing in younger players in order to progress. But that doesn't mean that's going to happen overnight. So Moyes needs to solidify. And that's why when you look at our keep section, you've got pure and utter quality with experience. And then every now and then you start to dribble in a younger player here, there, and everywhere. And what you've got now is Declan Rice and Ben Johnson, regular starters for West Ham. 2 players at the age of 22, 2 players that came through the youth ranks that are now 2 players that are named on the starting 11. And if he breeds another player in, then you're up to the 3rd player breaded into the team. And bang, you're starting to see the model slowly but surely take place. Yeah. And if he keeps bringing in, people are saying, I wouldn't look at Lingard, he's 29. But you can be in your prime, and a 29-year-old can give you 2 seasons. And if he gives us 1 season of anywhere close to what he gave us in the 6 months, that progresses the club, that allows us to buy younger, that allows us to invest in that world.
But I think the thing about Lingard is, and we've said before, he's got a lot of miles on his clock. He's like, I think Harry Kane, same age as Harry Kane, and Harry Kane's played over 100 games more than him.
Yeah.
And so he's like my Mini Cooper. It's like it's God knows how many years old, but it's only on 27,000 miles.
Yeah.
So it's still got plenty of years to go on it. So, and I think also something you said, and I think maybe is his work ethic as well outside, and we Moyes talks about it quite a lot, how they've had to lock the gates literally so that him and Thomas don't come to training when they're not meant to, because they just want to progress. They want to, and I think that's infectious. And
Yeah.
so I think it's what he brings, not just on the pitch, but what he brings off the pitch, particularly with Mark not there anymore now. We need as many characters in the dressing room and as much sort of
Absolutely.
work ethic in the dressing room to make up for that. Right, let's see what they said. In the poll, 86% said it keep. So he is in the keep list. God, our wage bill is going to be high this year. Right, now we move on to the kids, and this is going to be interesting. We'll start with Alessa, your man, your boy.
He is my boy. He is my boy. I do think he's got such a talent. I think this is a big year for him. He's not going out on loan. If he goes out on loan, he's not getting into the team. He's not getting into the team.
Yeah.
I've seen your comment, Gatesy. I can't see him leaving. I think he's got the ability. I think it's just he just needs a little bit of game time in the first team. He is ready to rock and roll in this Premier League. I honestly believe it. I really do believe it. But it's just he's not going to take out of the team Zuma and Aguerd. So he's going to get a bit of Europa League conference. Yes, he is left-footed, Gary. He is a left-footed centre-half.
He can play as well.
He can play left back and he can play on the right. I think we'll see a lot of him, Happy Amaret. I think we will see a lot of him in pre-season. I think we'll see him in the cup games, and I think he will. I mean, I think we could be sitting on a gem here, to be honest. And at the age that he is, Ben Johnson only broke into the team in the last year, and unless he could do the same.
Well, we remember when we had Patsy Holland. He spoke to David and he asked him about about bleeding kids in, not like bleeding kids, but bleeding kids into the first team. And Moisey sort of said he doesn't really look at them until they're 2021.
Yeah.
In all honesty, because the reason being is the under 23 league is not as competitive as it was when it was the combinations league, when it was a proper reserves, when you're playing against first teamers and guys coming back from injury. It's not like that. You're playing training games sometimes, he said it was a bit like. And I think that's the thing. And I've seen Alessio play the under-21s. Obviously, he scored in the goal of the season. Not bad for a centre back to score the goal of the season. He's got lots of experience, but this is a make or break season for him. I think it really is. I think if he has a good pre-season, then maybe. I think also we were and I've said it before. I think we're hampered by, but we've drawn in our cup competitions big teams. And if we were drawn the likes of, no disrespect,
Hull.
but Hull or Rotherham or
Which is who he
Charlton,
played against.
Yeah, exactly. Then he would be playing. I mean, don't forget when we played Hull, he played. They all played, didn't they? Really, you had Ashby playing, and it was a very youthful side. I think the fact that we had Man United and City in the cups and stuff like that, it means you couldn't bleed them in, because you don't want a situation like Big Sam did and put them all out against Forest. You get turned over, and we've had people like Seb Leggett on. Obviously he had a great career in the MLS, but he said, that really fucked me up, basically. And it makes a huge.
Yeah, it does make a huge difference. And the good thing about someone like Alessi is the fact that he's calm on the ball, and he's in actual fact, when you look at all the centre halves we spoke about here tonight, Diop, Ogbonna, and Zuma. I don't actually even could say if I could put Dawson in that. I actually think Alessi is the most calmest of those 5 players, if you include Alessi in that. He takes the ball, he reads the game, he's a good reader of the game. He is your kind of Winston Reid-ish type player. Like, he can collect the ball, he can run with the ball. And you've seen that with his goal that he took against, was it Derby, the way he got the Premier League goal of the season?
Yeah.
You don't get centre-halves that can run the whole length of the park and take on a whole team. You don't get that. You really, really, really get a team, or you get someone who makes a run, they look awkward, and then they pass the ball, give it to the striker and run back, unless he's got the ability to do that, mate. And he doesn't do it all the time, but he's a good footballer as well as a good defender with a good tackle on him. So that's, for me, a no-brainer. Bred him in somehow. keep him there, and hopefully he gets a chance. And he was so close this season. He was so
well, it was
close.
one more play. Yeah, but that's the thing, again, that's the thing, even if I still think he wouldn't. I still think Moyes wouldn't have put him in. Even if we had that one extra centre back not playing, or he would have found a way to put Declan Rice in and Alex Kral.
But he was closer.
It was closer. Yeah, it's closer. Exactly. Right, let's send the poll: 62% keep, 27% loan out, 11% sell. So we are keeping him. Anton will be very happy.
Delighted.
Let's just move that to the front so you can see it.
Oh, sorry, just quickly. That's a good point that Alan Turkington said is move Alessi into the midfield. You never know with some of these younger players because they do change positions. Yeah.
So Declan Rice. I remember watching Declan Rice play for the under-21s, and he was a commanding centre back, head and shoulders. Not necessarily the best player in the park, but he had this sort of aura about him as a leader, and that was at a relatively young age. And was it Pellegrini put him into central midfield, or was it Bilic? I can't remember.
Bilic, was it not? Yeah,
I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, so and they saw something in him, and obviously he started off very much as a defensive central midfielder, and then moved further into this sort of box to box maverick that we have now. Right, let's talk about Baptiste.
Love him. Think he's got a bloody great future at West Ham. I really do. I think he's different to Alessi. He is more like your kind of Zuma. He is more like your Diop and Ogbonna. Definitely got a longer future, a good future at West Ham. However, he needs to go out on loan because he is still dramatically young enough. He does have the stature to... I think he's got the stature. He just needs the game time now. And I don't think he's going to get the game time over the players that we've currently got. And I think if there is a player from the youth setup that can make the setup right now, it's Alessi. He's the captain of the under-23s. Something we also have to take into consideration. But I think a loan to a club... I can see it being a League One club before a Championship club, and then maybe making a step up to Championship club, and then maybe trying to see if he can jump into the first team.
Yeah, I think it's a loan for him. I think we know that Moyes likes him. We know there's a few players that he likes in the youth setup, and Baptiste is one of them. As you said, he's that sort of modern style defender. I think again. He's been playing when he plays under 23s at the stadium. It tends to be when they play a back three. It was Alessi, Baptiste, and Ben Johnson were playing as a three at the back. He's young, and I think he needs to bulk out a little bit. He's still, I think he's only still 18. So for me, it's a loan deal. Get him out. He's a League One side. Get him battered by big burly forwards. And sort of knock a bit of nouts into him, so to speak. But I think he's one for the future.
Yeah.
And I think also you look at sort of the people we've kept, as you said, the likes of Ogbonna and Dawson. They're not going to be around forever. They may be around for another season, maybe 2 seasons. That time. Well, Ogbonna will sign his 1-year extension, and so he'll probably leave at the end of the summer, end of next year. So there will be the 4th choice centre back to put in there potentially if Diop's gone as well. So that place is up for grabs really between Alessi and Baptiste. In all honesty, I think.
I think a loan to League One, and maybe a loan to the Championship next season after that, and then see where he's at because he's going to be 2021 by the point of that comes and bang, and there you go. Good point. Happy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at particularly a lot of I'm sort of thinking aloud about sort of centre back partnerships around the Premier League. You haven't got many youngsters in the centre back partnerships in the sort of the first team around the first team sort of set up. I mean, you even look at Chelsea. They've got. I mean, I was talking to a Chelsea fan the other day, and he was like, "Oh, I really want to get Koulibaly in," and I was like, "But Koulibaly's like 31, and you've got." And you got Thiago Silva as well, and obviously you're losing Rudiger and Christensen. He's like, but we've got these 2 youngsters and they're too young. They're too young, and actually I sort of understand that. Right, let's see what we get. We have got end poll. 64% say loan him out. So he's going to be loaned out to, I don't know, Charlton. Right, let's go to my boy, Ashby. My boy Ashby.
Again, I love him, Russ. I think he's got
I
a
think
really
it's
good.
brilliant.
I think he's got a really good future with West Ham. My concern with Ashby is that he is potentially going to hang around a team that have got going to have several players that can play in that position,
Yeah.
and may find himself on the bench a lot more and may get a lot more from being out on loan to the sort of club in the Championship. So, I would love to keep him this season, but I think what would benefit him would be a loan.
I think the thing with Ashby this season coming is I think he's gonna be the one that steps up. I really think he's gonna be the one that is featuring in the with Fredericks going. He's gonna be taking that role.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. I think he's going to be around the first team a lot more. He's going to be getting a lot more game time. I think Ben Johnson's going to be more to the left hand, be the left hand side, and I think Ashby will go forward and be that sort of second right back, and actually to a second right back to someone like Soufal, who can learn from him and play cup games, maybe European games. I think this is going to be Ashby's season. I really think this is going to be Ashby's season in terms of breaking into that squad. Rather than just sort of standing on the bench, he'll be playing a lot more games. We know what is like, particularly him and Perkins are the two guys that Moyes is very hot on by all accounts that we've read. And I think Ashby is an exceptional right back and is that modern day fullback. He gets forward a lot. He's got a good cross on him, and he looks like a good footballer. Yeah. I remember the first time I saw him, he walked in, he walks onto the pitch, and he holds himself very well. He's got that sort of bow-legged bowl as well, which good footballers have. And I think it could be a very, very good season for him this year. I think he's ready. Says keep all alone. Yeah, I just think everyone loves his attacking plays. About 21 already, so one season and then integrate him. Interesting. Right, let's see. And I think the other issue is, I remember, I can't remember what game it was. I think it was the Zagreb game. That as I walked up to the box, because obviously the likes of Ashby and that were all playing, and there was Kenny Jackett, who I think was, I can't remember what he was the manager of at the time. Wasn't Orient? Was it Orient? But there was like 4 or 5 of these sort of. You saw them in the sort of the where they sat, obviously scouting these guys, and I think not to buy him, but I think there's going to be plenty. If he was available for a loan, there'd be plenty of offers for him. That's for sure. For sure. Right, let's see what we've got, and we have ended the poll. 58% say keep, 31% say loan, and 11% say sell. So he is kept. There we go. I think he will make the step up this season. And now an interesting one. Emmanuel Longello. Now, obviously, he had that game against. He played. He came on, played left back again in Zagreb, the Zagreb game at London Stadium, and he's just gone missing. He doesn't seem to be anywhere.
He came on as a sub against Hull City, was it, in the League Cup the year before?
Yeah.
Or 2 seasons before, or whatever it was. He played against Zagreb. The rumour was that we were potentially looking at offers of him going out the door. I think what happened was, I think he had a good game against Zagreb, obviously, when the youngsters were playing. However, I then tried to take my mind back to when he played against Hull, when he came off the bench and played against, I think it was Hull. I'm sure it was Hull we played against. And I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed with him, Russ, at the time. But my head jumped in because I seen his Zagreb performance and thought, young player from West Ham, absolutely keep. He's a top-notch left back. But we are in the market for a left back, and there's been several occasions this year that he could have made the step up, especially on the back of the Zagreb game. Because I'm pretty adamant on the back of the Zagreb game, we were lacking options.
Left back, in
the left back. And it was like, is there a chance for him to do it or not? I actually think he may be one of the youth players that will be sold.
I mean, there was a rumor of Forest, wasn't there? And now Forest have gone up. That'll be interesting to see what happens. that might have changed their plans now. Maybe they go and buy, they were looking at a left back. Maybe rather than necessarily going out and buying an untested left back, they go out and get a more experienced left back. So maybe that's kibosh that really. I just don't know what's gone on with him. As I said, it was awesome. That Zagreb game, he was bombing. I know we was playing a team who'd, it was a rubber game, was it? It was nothing game at all, and a dead rubber rather. And but he was brilliant. I thought he was exciting. He broke forward quite a lot. He had that sort of early Creswell pace around him, where Creswell used to just like zoom down the left side when he first signed from Ipswich and crossed the ball in. He was really. I just thought he looked really, really good. But I don't know. I don't. But he isn't even playing for the under-23s at the moment. He must be injured, I imagine.
I think the thing is, I've seen from what I saw one good performance, a bang average substitute performance, and nothing to write home about in the under-23s from the games that I've personally watched. And therefore, taking that into consideration with the rumours that we may have been looking at open to offers for him. I mean, we're not going to keep everyone, Russ.
No.
So there's going to be, I think when I look at this list, I'm like, yeah, I think he fits in one of the right sections, whether the middle or the right, sell or loan. But I think sell.
Yeah, I think personally, I think it's a sell or loan. I don't really know what a loan, unless it's, again, it depends what type of side he goes to. We haven't had much luck with our loan signings, really. They don't tend to, apart from, Anang has played well on his loans. Obviously, we spoke about Connor Coventry. He didn't have a great time at Peterborough. He's had a better time at MK Dons. And you look at some of the others. I mean, there was times where Trott wasn't getting any game time at Nancy. It's hard to get players in thinking they're going to get first team football and they don't get first team football. It's like, what's the fucking point? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, you're right.
It just seems like right. We'll end the poll. Oh, it's the closest one. It's the closest one. 43% say keep, 32% say sell, 25% say loan. So technically, 43 said keep, 57% said get rid of him, whether it's loan or sell. But look, we'll go with what the jury say. The jury say, keep him, so we're keeping him.
I'm saying sell.
But I'm saying loan out or sell, yeah. Which is really annoying because my OCD is going to kick in now.
Yeah.
But anyway, he can.
We can work that out somewhere.
Bollocks.
There you go.
He's a bit big anyway. And that's our defenders and goalkeepers. Let's just, so we've got in the keep list. We've got Fabianski, Ariola, Nathan Trott, Aaron Creswell. We've got Zuma. We've got Ballon Dawson, Oggy, Diop, Ben Johnson. We've got Vladimir Sufal. We've got Elise, Ashby, and Longello.
Cell.
Yeah. And in the cell, we've got Randolph and Masuaku, and in the loan, and Nang and Baptiste. Obviously, we're going to be doing more of these. We're just doing, as Kieran said, it's just the defenders today. We're going to be doing where's Anton gone? That's it. That's better. Later, probably next week, we might do the midfielders, and the following week we'll do the forwards or attackers. And then maybe
we'll just do a show on Antonio then.
Just Antonio. That's literally it. Be a 5-minute show. Be a short. It'll just basically be a short. We'll do attackers. Okay, we'll do midfielders and attackers. Yeah. So the likes of Lanzini will be there in the attackers. Maybe do them together.
Yeah, I think we have to do them together.
I think we have to do them together. Yeah, we'll do midfielders and attackers together. Yeah. And then maybe what we do, maybe we'll have a look at the under-23s as a group.
Yeah, good shout.
As a group on its own, because we can talk about it more differently.
Timothy knows.
Right. Also, tomorrow for the morning show, the daily show, whatever we call it this week, we are doing something a bit different. We're doing 5, rather than just give you like transfer rumours, because anyone can do that. It's a bit of an opinion piece. 5 players. I mean, it's going to be sort of a new series. 5 players we can buy from the Championship. 5 players we can buy from the relegated teams. That type of thing. Tomorrow, it's 5 players that West Ham should buy who are on the free transfer list. And you can probably guess who they are if you're good at silhouettes. Why watch the fucking video? But we get into a bit of information about them. We'll talk about them in more general terms, what they could bring, a few stats and figures, as we always do. So check that out. That'll be out tomorrow. And then we'll have Hammer's headlines. Love the idea, says Joan. Love a poll, says Joan. There we go.
Yep.
Thank you, Joan. Don't forget
Much
to
love.
like, indeed. Hopefully next week. We were going to do this Keep series start next week, but unfortunately we're going to have Tim Breaker on tonight, but hopefully we get him on next week. Timmy Breaker is going to come on next week, so there we go. So there we'll have an X-Hammer next week. Yeah, that's probably about it.
Yeah, if you haven't already, go and check out the lads over at Forge from Iron, of course. That's Gatesy and oh my god, my mind's gone blank.
Duke.
So go and give them a subscribe as well. But if you are new around here, please subscribe to our channel. We're on the march. I'm going to call it 20,000 subscribers. I'm going to call it out. I'm calling it. And then if you hit the bell notification, that'll notify you when our shows do go live. And if you're interested in becoming a channel member, please click that membership option as well. There are prizes going out to our members, which Russ is about to tell me.
yeah, and actually we should do maybe we'll do a draw this week sometime, because we've got the June ones. The June prize will be a signed photo for Tony Cotti and McAvenny.
Yep.
So we've got that. That'll be up this week. We'll do that probably maybe Friday.
Yep.
Maybe late night on Friday.
Yep.
Maybe.
But we will revisit it. It's a good idea. We should revisit these once the transfer window shuts to actually see what we predicted right as a group of West Ham fans. So,
yeah, it'd be interesting. And we'll also probably towards the end of the close season do our predictions for the season ahead. So you can all get involved with that. I won because I did Miami's 11, so I didn't like before, and it turns out I won.
Yeah,
I won the predictions. I beat everyone. I beat the likes of Mad Dog. I beat the likes of Sebastian Schemmel, David Cross. I beat them all.
And listen, we are having, if there's anything that you want to come at us with in terms of suggestions, what you'd like to see, then please let us know. We are in discussions about what the plan is for the next season in terms of content. I mean, we've got really good feedback, but we're very open. And we've both got some ideas that's going to make hopefully things a little bit easier for us, but easier for you to watch as well. That's, I think, the biggest key thing there. So if there's any suggestions or things you'd like to see that we can add in, then let us know as well. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool. And obviously, at the end of these shows, we'd like to thank all of our channel members. And if you want, as Anton says, you want to become a channel member, hit the join button and become a channel member. You automatically get entered into every monthly draw. So it's a bit like a raffle ticket. Basically, what it is, it's a raffle ticket for the next draw. So we'll be doing that probably on Friday, that draw. So make sure you check it out and also hit the bell notification so don't miss any time we're putting content on, because we're always putting content on. And until next time, from myself and from Mr. Baker, take care, everyone. Irons, take care, stay safe, stay lucky, stay positive, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Ciao, ciao for now, my friends. Ciao.
It's like a family tree, part of you and